Hi everyone, this is Kiran and today we'll be talking about different software development lifecycle models. So majorly we'll cover waterfall model, V model, spiral model and agile model. This session is focused towards waterfall model. When the software development needs to go through certain steps, which is SDLC. So these SDLC steps needs to be performed in a way following which the software can be successfully developed. So one of the oldest models is waterfall model. It's very old, from the 60s. Recently we have been using agile a lot, but yes, waterfall still being followed by companies wherein there are large projects and the projects which are very stable, so we use waterfall. But majorly companies are shifting towards agile because agile is fast and it has a lot of advantages over other models. We'll discuss about it, but today's session will be focused towards understanding what waterfall is. So as you can see here, it's oldest amongst all the models which we follow from the SDLC process. Now why the name waterfall? Because as we know, the stream of water, it falls downward, it cannot go back or fall backwards. Similarly, in this model, all the steps of SDLC are sequential. It can be only followed step by step, one after the other, and this model doesn't support retrieving, going back to the next or the previous step while we are in the process of developing the software. So you can see all the software development life cycle steps are mentioned here. Number 1, requirement gathering. Number 2, design. Number 3, coding. Number 4, testing. And number 5, deployment and maintenance. So all the steps are performed but in a sequence. So we have to follow one after the other. It's not feasible to trace back to the previous step. It means, let's say we are at the testing phase right now and we want to do some design changes. No, this is not supported in waterfall. So that's about the waterfall model, sequential model, oldest model, very easy to implement because you have to just keep on following the steps in a sequential manner to reach the end product. We'll also talk about advantages and disadvantages of waterfall. So what are the advantages? It's very easy to implement, as we have seen. It's very much document driven. Yes, this model has enough time to prepare documentations in each steps and we maintain them, which is very important for any stable product, as the documentation certainly help the team and the people who are new to the team to understand the product and keep a history of what's been done and what is going on in the product. So yeah, it is the software requirement specification, feature requirement specification, all different kinds of documents are maintained here in this model. This model should be chosen mostly when the milestones are very clear, because we are not allowed to trace back, we are not allowed to go back and do changes. This is not favorable here in this model. So we should only choose this model if the milestones are very clearly specified that you have to do or create the product or this version of the product up till this date, and then the next plan is also very much stable and known. Only then we should choose this model. And this model is more suitable for products which are very matured. Let's say you're working for a product which is already existent and you're mostly working for creation of a new version of the same software, and you want to upgrade it and work on that software. So such models are very good and favorable for products which are very mature and less changes in the requirements, of course. We'll also talk about the demerits or disadvantages of waterfall. As we can see, it's very unrealistic to say that all the requirements should be known upfront and changes shouldn't be very frequent. So planning before waterfall seems to be unrealistic. So that's the major issue with waterfall. We are not allowed to trace back or go back to the previous steps. So that's certainly a disadvantage of waterfall. And there is very less client satisfaction because the client only comes into the picture when the product is ready. So throughout the entire process of the SDLC, the client is not aware of what's being developed. He's having no vision to what and how his software is being developed. So the client satisfaction is less in such models, and there is no prototype. The customer cannot preview their own product. So again, the pointer is very much related to client satisfaction. Now we can also talk about when should we think of using this model. So if we are about to choose waterfall model, what all pointers or what all factors we should keep in mind. Number one, yes, the requirement should be very much known. There shouldn't be innovations in between. The requirement is very specific and known. The product definition of what the product should be like should be very much stable. And the technology is well understood, which all technologies will be using to create the product should be understood. It cannot be frequently updated or changed using this model. We should be using this model for mostly when we are trying to create a new version of the existing software. So because if we are using this model for a new software, a lot of changes are expected, and this model doesn't usually support changes. So we should try to choose this model for products which are almost stable, and we are creating only new versions of an existing product. So that's about waterfall. We'll talk about other models in the different videos. Thank you.